Talk about a recovery rally today, guys. Look at this. SPY went from 404 at the low of the day, and it rallied all the way up to 407. That was about a 0.75% move, 0.8% move. Pretty solid. And we had triple Q, I think, go up about 1%. Let's take a look here from $298 to about $301 per share. And you guys can see the Russell and the Dow on the day, they went up. When earlier in the day when I made my previous video, everything was in the red. We're talking the Russell, the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P. Now, we had the Russell go up 0.25%. The Dow went up 0.4%, pretty much leading all the indexes, as the NASDAQ went down about 0.7%. And earlier in the day, it was down, I think, 1.5 to 1.6. And the S&P closed down only 0.25%, when earlier it was down over 1% at one point. So talk about a recovery rally heading into the close. And one good thing about the bulls here, guys, is they ended up taking out the highs from earlier in the day, at least here on SPY. SPY hit about intraday high of 407.50 roughly, and the intraday high before that was right around 407, as you guys can see. So we did break out of that. That's a good sign for the bulls. And on triple Q, we didn't see that. We didn't see the same breakout that SPY did, but still, I mean, it closed right under the intraday lows, being about 301 to about 301.50, as you guys can see right here. So if this does break next week at some point, maybe we do get a little more of more upside. But at this point in time, we're at a very pivotal point, right? It could go either way here. Triple Q closed above 298, which is good, but it's still holding on by a thread at that point. We talked about this earlier. If 298 breaks, we have a wide open gap down at 290, followed by 285, followed by down to about 275, which you guys can see all these gaps on the 4-hour chart. We've talked about this before, like I said. So it could go either way. Either we break 298, which it doesn't seem like it wants to do that quite yet, or it rallies to about 310, 315, and maybe it pushes up even further from that point. And if we pull SPY up, let's take a look at this. SPY, it's holding on by a thread as well, right above 404. We hit that today, which also was support back on the 10th, and we rallied off that point. So are we going to break under 404, under 400, to then fill the gap down to 375, 380, 390, or are we going to rally, take 410 out, maybe start going back towards 415, 420? That's the million-dollar question, guys. And again, Monday, the markets are closed. It's President's Day, so keep that in mind. We have a short week next week, so we're not going to see any price action on Monday, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course, the days after that. So I'm going to set my alert here at 410, which is right by the moving averages on SPY on this 20-day, 1-hour chart. If we break that point, 415, 420, that's where this thing could be going. So what do you guys think? I mean, at this point, I feel like the markets are in limbo. They're kind of waiting on direction, and, we just have to be patient. That's what it comes down to, guys. We have to be patient. So not too bad of a day overall today. I'd say it was a great recovery day for the bulls, especially in the latter half of the day. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and keep your eyes on those levels that we just mentioned. And before we actually talk about some stocks, guys, did you get your free stocks yet from Moomoo? If not, get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo. Link down below. All of those could be up to $2,000, guys. No joke. If you want some free money, up to $2,000 on those 15 stocks from Moomoo down below. All you have to do is use that link, deposit at least $100, and boom, you get the free money. And of course, you could also get up to 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited, and I think those could be valued all the way up to $30,000 or some crazy number. All the details are down below, guys. Check it out. And of course, if you use those links, it helps out the channel. Point blank, period. There's no hiding that. It's just, that's how it is, right? Helps out the channel, but you also get some free stocks. I appreciate you all as always. So let's take a look at some stocks now. We had John Deere, in other words, Deere & Company, report today. Let's pull this up. And this stock ended up exploding, up 7.5%, $30 a share on the day. What a move for John Deere today, guys. And look, it clearly is holding now. It bounced right at the bottom of that wedge that we were talking about a couple videos ago, and now it rallied all the way to the top of the wedge, as you guys can see, which is right around 430, 435, which, to be honest, well, it's pretty obvious, right? This is a big resistance point. We have to break 430 435, 440 to see the next leg up, which could take this thing to new all-time highs. Who knows? Maybe for, high 400s, maybe $500 one day. I don't even know, which I believe it's already near all-time highs right now. Yeah, it is. I mean, look, we just hit 448 a couple weeks ago, months ago, actually. Either way, it's recently from the, middle of December. That's where we hit that. We're near all-time highs, and we're one breakout away from getting to new, fresh all-time highs. So John Deere ended up doing, let me pull this up here and take a look. They ended up doing what is it? Where the heck is it here, guys? Here we go. Let's scroll down a little bit more. There we go. They did $6.55 versus $5.56 estimated on revenue of $12.65 billion versus $11.28 billion estimated. My goodness. Look at that. They crushed EPS by about $1, and they beat revenue by $1.3 billion. I mean, what were these analysts smoking? I mean, they were way off on these estimates, guys. What in the world is going on here? And they see full year 23 production and precision. AG sales, is that agriculture sales? Yeah. Up 20%. Construction and forestry sales up 10 to 15%. And they see small AG and turf sales flat to up 5%. Not too bad. And it looks like here they beat expectations by a wide margin. Profit more than doubles. That's fantastic. And it looks like here the net income on a dollar value was almost $2 billion on the quarter, which is just insane. So yeah, pretty good numbers there. Solid guidance for John Deere, Deere and Company. And there's no wonder why the stock is breaking out. Well, not fully breaking out yet, but it went up 7.5%, and it's on the verge of breaking out of that wedge. And you guys see what I got right here? I haven't had one of these since I was a kid, and my it's because my fiance's little cousins were over last week a little bit for the Super Bowl, and we got Capri Suns. So cheers, guys. This is a strawberry kiwi surf. Again, I haven't had these since I was a kid, but my God, are they good. Cheers, guys. So, yeah, where was I? John Deere, pretty solid. Next company is Air Canada, which I don't even know the ticker on this, but we'll find it here. Handy dandy ThinkOrSwim will do the search for us. Let's see here. What is Air Canada's ticker symbol? All right, now I'm not finding it. Hold on a second, guys. Might have to Google this very quickly and see what Air Canada's ticker symbol is. Give me a second. Their stock is ACDV. What kind of ticker is that? ACDVF. All right, that's Air Canada, which today went down almost 9%. And I guess it's, not the most tracked company. What's the market cap on this thing? ACDVF. It's got to be a small market cap. Yeah, $5.6 billion. It's not a micro cap, but it's not a very big company either. That's for sure, guys. So it's not. I'm not even seeing what their earnings are here. But they did report earnings today. I'm not sure exactly why they're not on ThinkOrSwim. It's just not that much of a tracked company. Not a lot of people track it. Not a lot of analysts probably. But let's see here if I could pull it up on my phone. Air Canada earnings. Bear with me, guys, for a second. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I probably should have done a little bit more planning for this video. That's my bad. But, all right, let's see here. It says here, Air Canada posts $1.7 billion loss for 2022, but swings for a profit in the fourth quarter. Okay, so I guess overall in 2022 they lost, but fourth quarter was decent. Not seeing anything here on revenue or guidance. Let me see here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Revenue of $4.68 billion, Canadian dollars, that is. That's up 71% year over year. Wow, that's massive. And adjusted EBITDA of $389 million in Canadian dollars in the fourth quarter of 2022. Adjusted EBITDA margin of 8.3% for the fourth quarter. Okay, not too shabby there for Air Canada, and I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, I know all about Air Canada. I clearly have not done much research into it, but based on what I just read, the earnings revenue at least is growing a good amount year over year, and I'm sure they're trying to dig themselves out of that hole from COVID, and they're making a decent profit. Nothing crazy, but a decent profit there, and the chart actually looks decent. If this thing sees some support at around $14.75, $15, 50, that could be a spot where we could get a bounce on, Air Canada. We shall see. I'll keep it on the watch list, guys. And Tesla today ended up going up 3% on the day. Look at this nasty, gnarly recovery on Tesla today, guys. I think when I made my video on it in the morning talking about the recall, it was under 200. And from that point, 198, it rallied all the way to 208. That's a 5% move. Now, after the bell, it's pushing 210. So talk about a recovery on Tesla, up 6% from that intraday low. And if we pull the 20-day up, let's pull this 20-day up. It looks like the uptrend's continuing. We got, we got a bounce on that 180 SMA. Now it looks like it wants to maybe test the highs from yesterday being about 215, 217. Maybe it goes 220. So Tesla looks pretty decent, although on top of that, we do have a bearish divergence, which is a little bit alarming. I'm not going to lie. You guys can see that. Well, I don't want to say it's completely alarming to the point where we all have to sell out or, sell our Tesla stock, which, mind you, I don't have much skin in the game. I've said that before. I've already sold my Tesla stock a while ago, a good amount of it, most of it, really. But if I was in it as a trade right now, let's say from a trading perspective, I would be a little bit anxious about the bearish divergence here. And we all know it's gone up a ton in the past month and a half, and it could be, prone to a sell-off if we do get a legitimate overall market sell-off. Maybe Tesla does start going down to the mid-hundreds again. That's in the cards. It's possible. And, we'll see what ends up happening with that. We had Beyond Meat today also have a pretty nice green day. And, of course, I'm not going to buy this as a long-term investment, but I do keep my eyes on it for a trade, short-term trade, preferably a day trade. I wouldn't like holding. Personally, I wouldn't like to hold this overnight or over the weekend even, especially over the weekend. But what we see right now is an inverse head and shoulders in the making. We have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and you guys will probably see it a little bit better. Let's pull this 20-day up. You guys can see it right there. So if we do end up taking out, let's say, 1830, if I pull this up, you guys can see it, right? Or if I set the alert, that's been resistance. If we take that point out, Beyond Meat could end up breaking out towards $20, 21, and it could happen quick. That's where we were a couple weeks ago, back in the end of January, early February. And we can see here, if I zoom in a little bit, we have a wide open gap, if we do break that 1850 level. So Beyond Meat, even though it's nowhere near my favorite company as a long-term investment, I'm still watching it as a trade. And let's see some of these other ones here. Merck had a pretty good day, but the chart doesn't look that great. Let's see here. Maybe if it breaks out of that high from a couple days ago, 110, Merck, could really start to make a move, but I'm not convinced it's going to do that. So I'll set my alert at 110. We'll see what it does from that point. We also had GameStop do pretty well today, and this is maybe starting to make a move. It's trying to, at least. It looks like we do have an inverse head and shoulders on GameStop as well. Do you guys see this right here? Let me pull it up. Pull up the circle tool and show you guys. We have the inverse head and shoulders. Boom. You guys see that. So this could be, gearing up for a move past 2230, 2250. So let's see what it does at that point. I'll set my alert at 2250 on GameStop here. So if it does crack above that, maybe mid-20s, could be right around the corner. So not too bad there. The chart's looking all right. Let's see what else. JP Morgan. Okay, we have a bit of a bearish divergence on that, although this did go up 0.3% on the day. Meta's one that I was talking about on my Patreon earlier. Make sure you guys check it out if you guys want. Link down below. Shameless plug. This is one that I think does have more work to do on the downside, and I'm not buying this little mini rally above 170. I feel like this thing needs to come under 170, and if it fills the gap to about 155, that would be an awesome price for me as a trade. I'm looking at it as a potential bounce off play at about 150, 155. We could maybe see a bounce at that point and get a little short-term rally on it. But right now, I'm still like, I don't know. I'm not convinced we're going to just rip right back to 200 quite yet on Meta. So I'm going to wrap up the video here, guys. We could talk all day. You guys know how that goes. But actually, wait, let's look at Roblox. And I mentioned this earlier. A lot of these stocks that shot up tremendously after earnings, they're starting to sell off a little bit. Roblox down 6.2% today, which it needs to come down a little bit more, in my opinion, down to maybe $38. I'd consider it there. Airbnb ended up closing down about 5.5% today. Palantir, SoFi, we talked about those earlier. Shopify got destroyed yesterday, 16%, and today down another almost 3%, so that could have maybe more downside to go. We have Google selling off after earnings pretty massively. We have a head and shoulders on Google, and this probably, now it looks like with today's down move, looks like it wants to come down even further. So we'll see how it goes, guys, with these companies, and of course, we're going to make more content. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button. And don't forget to get your free stocks from Moomoo, from Webull. All of those are down below. Check out the Patreon as well if you want to check out the Patreon portfolio and build that. Follow along to see how I'm building that over time. That's on Patreon. You could also see, the charts throughout the day I post. Discord, you get more access to me throughout the day. Check all those out down below. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching as always, guys. Peace out.